we will get into our Pixar rankings. Now, what we said, we thought this would be a better idea. We thought we're going to do a top 10 and a bottom 5. We'll probably do it like we usually do. So we'll go 10 to 5, and then from 5 to 1, we can speak about stuff in a little bit more detail. But we'll start off with the Pixar 10 to 1. I'm going to go with Tyler. Obviously, Tyler hasn't spoken in a while. So if you want to give us your 10 to 6, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so whoops.
You're on mute, my friend.
My bad. So I will say that my Pixar ranking has a little bit of an asterisk to it because I don't have them all logged and rated on Letterboxd, which means that I've only seen, I think I have like 15 logged and there's 27 total. So that means I've seen 15 of them within the past, what is that, like year and a half now when I started Letterboxd. But I've seen like 24 out of 27. I think there's only a couple like Onward I haven't seen. And then the other ones aren't really coming ahead. That might be the only one I haven't seen. But because I don't have them
Onward would not be in your top 10, but it wouldn't be in your bottom 5.
Yeah, it'd be middle for everyone.
Yeah, so I think
it's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, even with that, like since I don't have stuff rated exactly, like some of my top 10 is a little bit like guesswork and same with my bottom 5, but I feel good about the movies in there. But like when I officially rank them, you might see the exact order switch up a bit. But that being said, the disclaimer out of the way. Number 10, hot take. I have WALL-E. I mean, it has to be in your top 10, but I think a lot of people have it a lot higher. I don't know exactly where you guys hold it, but I know like the general consensus would have WALL-E as like a top 3 Pixar movie probably.
Yeah.
Number 9, I have Monsters, Inc., which I know, Seth, you're really, really high on. Maybe probably like as far as ReelTok guys, I think you're the highest on it. So we'll probably we'll probably hear you go on it. I mean, you've talked about it on the pod several times.
I do like it a lot.
So yeah,
stop ruining the excitement.
Monsters Inc. I enjoyed a lot when I was a kid, and then I rewatched it like 3 weeks ago or so, and I still really liked it. And that's kind of a disclaimer I was going to say before the bottom 5, but just in general, Pixar, like they have some misses, but there's only like 2 Pixar movies that I really just didn't like absolutely hated, but there's so many that like I'll watch and I don't like them, but it's like I didn't feel like I wasted my time or hated them. There's at least like 2 movies or maybe even 3 of my bottom 5 Pixar movies that like I didn't hate watching them. I just like they're in the bottom 5. Pixar's a very good company.
Very consistent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's tough to rank these all, but so 10 WALL-E, 9 Monsters Inc., 8 we got Toy Story 2, 7 Finding Nemo, 6 Toy Story 3. The Toy Stories for me are all pretty neck and neck, but Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, Toy Story 3 rounds out my 8, 7, 6. And yeah, there's my 10 through 6.
That's kind of how I expected it to be fair. I think I know most of your top 5. George, 10 to 6.
10 to 6, yeah. I feel like it's such an interesting, because like I ditto what Tyler said. Like Pixar's a really consistent like franchise, and like even our top 10s, like if my number 10 is one of your number 1s, I'm not going to like be upset about that like at all. But yeah, my number 10 is Toy Story 2. I feel like this is the forgotten bunch of the Toy Story films. Obviously 3 and 1, everyone holds very highly, and 4 is just because it's the most recent, but I think 2 is still an incredibly solid entry.
I agree. People don't speak about 2 as much as people about 3 and 1.
Yeah. I mean, which makes sense, but
it's so good.
Yeah. I still think it's top 10 for me. Number 9, I got Finding Nemo. This is just like one of my most rewatched strictly because I was obsessed with it when I was a child. I absolutely love this movie. Number 8 is the British fan favorite Ratatouille.
Yeah.
I do like Ratatouille as much as I rag on it, which I don't rag on it. I just rag on how much you British folk hold it so highly. But I do like Ratatouille a lot. Number 7 is Up, and there's been recent discourse that I've been seeing where people are like, oh, you only like Up because of the first 15 minutes. And it's like, no, but that's a big part of it. I like the whole movie. And then number 6 is where I have WALL-E. I hold WALL-E very highly on both my animated ranking list and my science fiction list and my movies that take place in space list. I really, really love WALL-E. Its look at humanity as well. Its science fiction elements are just really solid to me. So Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, Ratatouille, Up, and WALL-E are my 10 through 6.
Okay. So I will go for 10 to 6. My 10 is Soul. Really, really good, actually. I do need to give an honorable mention here because I can't not. Monsters University is very good, and that is all I'll hear about that one. Okay.
Wow, you're gonna hate my bottom 5.
Crazy. No, there's no way. I'll go Soul 10. Then I'll go Coco 9. Probably one of the most recent watch on this list. Really, really good.
Remember when I said if your 10 is my 1, I'll be upset?
That's not your 1.
Okay.
Is it? No, I don't believe that.
You'll fucking
And it wasn't his 10, it was his 9.
Oh, he's your 9 too.
Yeah. You've given it away. My 8 is one that you guys haven't mentioned. I'm a lot higher on this than most people, I will be honest, and that's Luca.
That's my number 11. I was going to shout it out as an honorable mention. But
such a huge fan of that film. I think it was so good.
Cam is also very high on Luca.
Uh,
He's actually not. He's 4 is high, but he's like, I've got it at 4.5. I really like Luca. Then I have Toy Story 2, like George said, The Forgotten Wild. He's so good. Stinky Pete, man. He was an enemy. He was so bad. He was so good. He was such a good character. I really Toy Story 2 was incredible. I'm with Tyler, so my 7 is Toy Story 2, and my 6 is Toy Story. They're very, very close together. The first one, the second, and obviously the third, which will come soon, obviously. But yeah, Toy Story. I have Soul 10, 9 Coco, 8 Luca, 7 Toy Story 2, and 6 Toy Story. Tyler, do you want to give it your number 5?
Yeah, so of course at number 8 was Toy Story 2, number 6 Toy Story 3, and number 5 for me is Toy Story. I think the first 3 are all very close. I feel like the fourth one's a love-hate relationship. Some people really wish they didn't have it come out, but for me, I mean, I haven't seen it since like it came out in theaters, but I really liked it when I saw it in theaters, so I haven't rewatched it. I think it was still definitely a fun addition to the franchise. It's not top 10 worthy for me, but so I guess that's spoilers. My top 4 does not have Toy Story 4 if you're holding your breath for that one.
Shocker.
But yeah, my number 5 is Toy Story. It's iconic. Like I watched it so much growing up. I was a huge, Buzz and Woody fan. Like had the action figures, dressed up as them as much as I could. Just always run around the house screaming to infinity and beyond. I need to rewatch it. It's been forever, but I remember seeing like a clip of it like recently, and it's just funny when you're a kid, or just in general. I feel like with movie technology, whether it's animated or live action, you don't really think of what things look like in the past until you go back and revisit them. Yeah. So like the animation of the original Toy Story took me by massive surprise. I saw a clip. I was like, did it really look that? It doesn't look bad, but you know what I mean? It's like kind of like, wow, did it really look that like dated and aged? And that just kind of speaks to how advanced animation technology is nowadays. But it's the same with live action too. But yeah, when I saw that clip of it, I was like, I feel like it did not look that like rough compared to modern.
It, to be honest.
I'm not saying it as a derogatory way, but it's just like in terms of advanced animation styles, I was like, man, it was a lot more elementary than I remembered. But yeah, no one can have a top 10 Pixar list without like, I'm going to say no one can have a top 10 Pixar list without at least 2 Toy Stories in it. Otherwise, that's just crazy.
Wait, which Toy Story did you have at 5? Was it 3 or was it?
At 5, I have Toy Story 1, but at 6, I have Toy Story 3. So
and then 7, Toy Story 2.
8 Toy Story 2, but yeah, they're all neck and neck. The only thing Finding Nemo's breaking up in between them, but yeah.
Oh, rip. George, give me a 5.
We'll continue talking about Toy Story. My number 5, apologies, is Toy Story 3. I really love this conclusion to like the OG trilogy. There's so much heart. It's also just like one of those movies that just speaks volumes to like growing up and letting go of your childhood and kind of maturing. But also it's a reminder to like never forget about your childhood and just appreciate those moments as much as you can. I'm not one of those like haters of Toy Story 4 at all. I think it's a rather good movie, but I do wish the trilogy had just ended with Toy Story 3. I think it was just such a fantastic ending and we didn't necessarily need a sequel to it. But again, I do like Toy Story 4. But yeah, Toy Story 3 comes in at number 5 for me.
If Toy Story actually was a trilogy, that would like on average be my like 3rd highest trilogy ever. I think it would be like higher than The Godfather. I'm pretty sure.
What would be number 2? Wait, am I forgetting something?
Cornetto trilogy.
Oh,
2
yeah,
5s,
of course. Yeah, your top 2 trilogies are your favorite movies ever. So yeah, those will never be topped.
Yeah, it would be
Toy Story trilogy. The OG trilogy would definitely probably be top 10 for me.
Yeah, very very good. My 5 is Wall-E. So there you go, Tyler. George, you had it at like 6.
I had it at 6. Yes, sir.
I had it 5. Tyler had it at. Where did you have it, Tyler? Was it like 8?
Number 10.
Oh wow.
I will say though, like looking at my rankings, my number 3 through
All get changed.
8 are like all interchangeable.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I don't even argue like my top 5. It's just so close.
Yeah, like I think my top 2 are like fairly cemented there, but like 3 through 8, I could have rearranged these in any order and been happy with my ranking.
Yeah. My 5 is WALL-E, as I mentioned. I think WALL-E's fantastic. It's personal. It's intimate. It's great showcase with the environment. It's loving. It's just a joyful watch. It's a gentle watch, and I think it's one of arguably Pixar's most intelligent film, especially when it comes to kids' work as well. I would have WALL-E at my 5. Tyler,
I like that gentle watch.
It's a gentle watch.
I like that. I'm gonna start that. It reminds me of like I adore this film. Like it's a very endearing compliment.
I don't know if I've ever said gentle watch in my life.
I was gonna say I've never heard
WALL-E
it
just
in my
pulled
life.
that out of me. Then
I like that a lot. I really
thinking of that
enjoyed
little guy. It just pulled it out of me. Then Tyler, do you want to give you a number 4?
Yeah, my number 4. It almost feels disrespectful putting it at number 4 because I love it so much. But that again speaks to what we've already been talking about. How Pixar is so consistent, and they've been consistently great. I mean, they've made 27 films, and I think there's like at least 15 of them that I would not bat an eye if anyone had in their top 3, honestly. So number 4 for me is Inside Out. Absolutely adore this movie. It's super emotional. It works for me. I have like another layer added to it because it's like she's moving, like her family moves, or like my family didn't move, but it's like moving from Minnesota to somewhere else, trying to get used to it, and that's like where I'm from. And obviously the girl's name Riley. That's my girlfriend's name. So the Riley Minnesota connection make it even better for me. But yeah, Inside Out's awesome. I didn't even watch it for the first time until I don't know if it was either early 2023 or late 2022, but really it was because of George just always talking about and hyping it up. And I finally was like, I put this Pixar off for too long, and I loved it from first watch.
That's what I'm saying. For everyone listening, I have elite movie taste. If I give you a recommendation,
me Inside Out though.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, well you're wrong. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I
So-
care so much.
Yeah, I know you do.
Please rewatch
George,
it.
No. Although you can say, George, Anna has it like number 1, so that should make you feel a little bit better.
Anna, listen, that IQ, her Goodfellas rating holds it down, but
What about her Empire Strikes Back rating?
oh, what does she have Empire Strikes Back at?
1.
Oh God. I feel like I never knew that.
Yeah, I know. George, give me your number 4.
My number 4 is, in my humble opinion, one of the best superhero movies out there, The Incredibles.
Yeah.
When I was a young lad, I would go to the beach and I would run on like the part where the water meets the sand, and I would pretend like I was running on water really goddamn fast, which was so dope.
I'm just going to point this out. I tried to drink water and the cat was on. That's really embarrassing. That still looked great. And
I didn't see that.
it. So
I didn't see that. I missed it. I'm going to make that a TikTok clip. But yeah, I got I got The Incredibles at number 4. I just really, really love this film. I always have. Again, it's just like Finding Nemo for me. It's one of my like most rewatched like childhood favorites that, just has always stuck with me. I will say I haven't rewatched it in a while. So honestly, I'd be curious, just since Tyler mentioned like the animation not holding up in Toy Story, I'd be curious how it holds up in The Incredibles, because I feel like that's one of those movies I remember just looking like stunning, like incorporating all of like these superhero powers.
It's really, it looked really good.
Yeah.
That was like a little bit later. It was like maybe 10 years after, like 10 years after Toy Story. Wait, when did Incredibles? No, maybe I'm wrong.
Incredibles came out in 2004 and Toy Story came out in 95.
95, yeah. So
wow, I did not peep that.
Yeah, Toy Story is actually like old.
That's an old ass movie. Damn. But yeah, Incredibles number 4. Love that movie. One of my childhood favorites.
Yeah, cool. My number 4 is Toy Story 3. I switch, honestly, like seriously, like my Toy Story ranking of the first 3. I'm same as you guys. I think the 4th one is pretty good. I enjoyed it. But the 1 to 3 just switch all the time. But I rewatched all the Pixar's like fairly recently in the last year or so, and I think Toy Story 3 just edges it, but like it's so slight. And then WALL-E just slots in the middle, like Tyler with Finding Nemo. But Toy Story 3 is it's just fantastic. It just elevates the character so much. I think Lotso the bear it's just a great character, just fantastic. It's emotional. It's got really, really good themes of power, moving away, and I think I love the weird and wacky characters it presents. It was kind of big, it was bold, and the ending is just fantastic and will never fail to sadden me. But yeah, Toy Story 3 is my number 4. Right now, I would say the best of the Toy Story films, if that could change tomorrow, because I do think the 1, 2, and 3 are so close. It's crazy. But yeah, Tyler, if you want to give it your number 3 into the top 3 now.
Yeah, my number 3 has already been mentioned, but it is Incredibles. It's a great superhero movie, as well as I've rewatched this recently, and it's like the comedy in this hits so good. Like I was just smiling and laughing the whole time. Like the track scene at the end with Dash and his whole family yelling at him to speed up and slow down just had me rolling. Like even though this is like my 7th time seeing it, I didn't know that Brad Bird, who obviously directed this and has directed a lot of Pixar movies as well as like Mission Impossible. Ghost Protocol, maybe. He played Edna E. Mode. I didn't know he voiced that character. That's kind of iconic.
I realized that recently as well.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like the character of Violet in The Incredibles, I feel like is the most like she to me is just like Aubrey Plaza. Like, and it's funny because it's like before Aubrey Plaza became like a thing. Like she was Aubrey Plaza when this came out was probably like, I don't know, like 10 or something. Like probably not, I don't think she was an actress at that point, but she just gives out that same exact energy.
10, surely.
Something
10.
like that, like 20 years ago. She's probably like 32. Let's see, Aubrey Plaza age. She's 39. Damn. Okay. Good for her. She looks good for 39. She's about to be 40.
She does look good for 39.
Yeah. Good job. But I don't think at least she was an actress back in 2004. But maybe I'm mistaken. But she just gives out the same exact energy as Violet to me. But yeah, The Incredibles is so fun, and I did rewatch it recently. I didn't get the same kind of shock with the animation that I did with Toy Story at all. I think The Incredibles looks really good. And The Incredibles 2, it's not my top 10, but I think a lot of people hate on that movie. I actually really enjoyed it. I've only seen it once. It was when I was interning in Boston and we all got drunk and went to see it, so maybe that influenced it, but I had a lot of fun with The Incredibles 2, so I think it's an overhated movie.
Is it hated?
I think it's kind of hated.
4.5. I like it a chunk.
Oh, really? I have it at 3.5. I do like it. I don't love it, though. Maybe it is hated, actually. Yeah. Most sequels are.
I feel like it's a very forgotten film.
Yeah, it's like Finding Dory.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a forgotten film.
Yeah, it really is.
George,
if you want to give... You say that, though, but this shit makes money.
Yeah,
crazy
obviously. My number 3 is Toy Story. I have this as my number 1 ranked Toy Story film. What more needs to be said about this movie? It's both influential and just amazing. The screenplay is as emotional as it can be, just endearing and hysterical. So many fond memories watching this movie as a child. It's just, I don't know. It's another childhood favorite of mine that I absolutely fucking adore. It's top 3 maybe for just sheer influence and just what it did for the animation genre, or not genre, medium. I apologize, Guillermo del Toro. But yeah, got Toy Story at number 3.
Me and Tyler share number 3, which is The Incredibles. Just easily one of my favorite superhero projects ever. It's the quintessential family superhero genre, drama that has each character has a relatable problems, relatable issues in life, which I really, really appreciate. And it's grounded, it's realistic, but it's also like hilarious. I still think the first Incredibles, the comedy lands so much. You've got like Samuel L. Jackson just pulling out these one-liners. You've got Edna Mode just telling me can't have any capes. It's so funny. It never gets old for me. It never tires. Miss Incredible.
Come on now.
She's thick.
There was no need for that.
In the second one especially, it was crazy. I'm not even joking.
The most iconic thing about that is that she can shapeshift her body to be whatever she wants, so she chooses to be that way. She chooses to have the dump truck. She gets to pick whatever she wants to look like.
So she just puts a fatty on her behind 24/7.
But yeah, Incredible. It's just, I mean, The Incredibles is incredible, and I'll leave it at that. Pretty inventive. Tyler, number 2.
Yeah, so, speaking of Incredibles, like I remember just having the DVD as a kid, and they had like the Jack Attack short on it, and I watched that all the time as a kid. Yeah. Jack, I was obsessed with. He was definitely my favorite when I was a kid, and him and Dash. But my number 2 is Ratatouille. I don't know, man. This movie is just so fun, so lighthearted. It's just, I don't know. It's like one of the funnest watches. I feel like a lot of Pixar's like that I really enjoy, have an emotional hit. So I'd say The Incredibles and Ratatouille kind of fit in terms of being ones that you can watch and have a really good time with. They still like play with emotions and stuff, but I feel like they're not as heavy of watches as other ones, and I appreciate them for that. Ratatouille obviously makes the dish of ratatouille at the end look like the most scrumptious thing in the world. When I've had it in real life, and it's just a very fine dish. Like it's just nothing like crazy, but the way they make it,
it's not amazing, is it?
right? It's just it's just something, basically just like a bunch of veggies like chopped up and put some like sauce on it. But the way they make it look and taste in this movie makes it look like
it looks amazing.
Yeah,
that final sequence.
Yeah, insane.
Oh,
but yeah, you're just rooting for Remy the whole time. You just want them to let him be a chef because he's clearly elite in the kitchen. But yeah, I want to see a Ratatouille and the bear crossover. It'd be iconic. See Remy in that kitchen, just letting things go down in Chicago. But yeah, Ratatouille, iconic.
George, number 2.
Yes, sir. My number 2, a film that I talk very highly about, a film that I talk very regularly about, and that is Inside Out. This movie played with my emotions more so than any other animated film has ever done. It had me hysterically crying. Several scenes, obviously the Bing Bong scene, the ending scene when Riley is, confronting her parents, it put my emotions in a goddamn blender. And, I feel like you guys know me well enough to know that I rate movies very highly that can like really damage me emotionally, and Inside Out is one of those that did that. And like we said about several other films on these lists, the comedy hits. It's just incredible watching the back and forth banter between all of the emotions of sadness and fear and joy and whatever, disgust. It's just a movie that just hits all the right beats for me. And like Tyler said, just, all of the mature themes that are handled in a very, reserved way that can speak to both, children and adults and young adults. It's just one of those movies that I just absolutely love. It has so many scenes that I could pull that would be in, my top 10 to 15 animated scenes of all time. I got Inside Out at number 2.
I remember when I watched Inside Out for the first time, I watched it with Anna. I turned around at what's his name? Bing Bong.
Bing Bong.
And looking at her, it was like looking at me the first time I was watching like Schindler's List or some shit. She was like drowning in tears. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a movie that has fucked with my emotions like crazy.
Yeah. So my number 2 is Monsters Inc. As Tyler spoiled earlier, Monsters Inc. is definitely one of my favorites. I just think Monsters Inc. is so charming. You'll probably notice, an ongoing theme with me, Dungeons and Dragons being an example. I love weird shit. I love weird characters I can just have fun with. I loved Monsters Inc. as a kid, and I still do now. Just going around this world and seeing so many absolute strange, hideous, freaky characters, and just being so in awe at just the creativeness behind it. It's such an inventive thing. It actually has some really good social commentary as well with the main villain. What's his name? Shit. What's his name?
Who for Monsters Inc.?
Yeah, what's his name? I always forget his name.
Randall.
No, the main villain.
Who the fuck is the main villain? That's not Randall.
Because Randall's like a good guy, man, even though he's not. But Mr. Waternoose, the big claw-looking guy. Anyway, he's like, there is a lot in terms of like capitalist society and stuff like that. I think it's really well shown. It's so funny, and like Tyler said with Ratatouille, it doesn't put me in like an existential crisis like a lot of Pixar's try to nowadays, I feel, but unsuccessfully with a lot of them. Sully and Mike are just some of my favorite characters ever, regardless of animation. I can watch it over and over again and just have as much fun with it as I did the first time, because it's just a story on friendship. It's fun. It's adorable, and yeah, Monsters Inc. is similar to like George said with The Incredibles. I used to watch Monsters Inc. on repeat. Same with The Incredibles as well. When I was a kid, and I can still watch it now and just enjoy it just as much. I think it's just fantastic. So Tyler, give us your number 1.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that Monsters Inc. doesn't put you in an existential crisis, because when I just rewatched it recently, it kind of did, because the last third of it just like hit so hard about like life, like Similar to kind of like La La Land, honestly, where it's like people being so endlessly career focused and only caring about work and how it just damages your relationships with everyone and your life just becomes soulless and meaningless. Those are the type of movies that hit me super hard because obviously you guys know I'm a straight up certified workaholic. So like anything where it's like movies about not working so hard and appreciating life, I'm like, fuck yeah, I should probably do that a little more. Number one for me is Coco. It's from the moment I watched it for the first time, it was just like I knew that was probably my number one Pixar, and it's just gonna be really hard for Pixar to ever release anything for me personally it's ever gonna top it. Absolutely love it. I think the world they build is so awesome. I think there's a lot of parallels you can draw to what the Spirited Away world is like, but it's just so cool, and I feel like the way they infuse just so much Mexican themes into it. And the soundtrack just absolutely bangs. Like Riley and I listen to that pretty often. Like we just, when we're like cleaning the house or something, we'll just throw it on like the Alexa speaker and just have Coco soundtrack playing while we're cleaning up the house. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like a movie that took me by surprise when I saw it. Cause again, that was one that I'd never seen until Riley showed it to me and she loved the movie. And I watched it. I was like, damn, that's like probably gonna be my forever favorite Pixar movie. So number one for me is Coco. I won't say much more because I have a inkling that someone else might be talking about it. So I'll pause there.
I will say as well that the guy, what's his name, Ernesto de la Cruz.
Yeah, perfect.
I think he's the second best villain in Pixar altogether. I think he was fantastic. And I also agree. I know what you mean with the Spirited Away parallel as well. It's almost reminiscent of that. It's weird. By the way, the best villain of Pixar is, of course, Syndrome. Just to get that out there. But George, carry on.
I'd agree with that. Just piggybacking off everything Tyler said. Coco is my number one. In my mind, without a doubt, the most beautifully animated Pixar film. One of the most beautifully animated Pixar animated films ever. It's stunning to look at. It's stunning to attach yourself emotionally to these characters and their stories and their relationships. And I think this movie just hits all the right beats when it comes to making you laugh, making you cry, also educating you on this culture and really just allowing you to admire, what's going on within the Mexican culture and their traditions as well as their music. I think this movie has some of the most lovable characters that Pixar has ever created. And I just love watching little Miguel just go on this journey through the land of the dead, which again, like Tyler said, the land of the dead is just so beautiful and the world building around it is just stunning to watch. Without a doubt, my number one Coco film. And I'm honestly in like the same boat as Tyler. I'll be very shocked if Pixar can top Coco for me.
Did you know what you said then, by the way?
What did I say?
Your number one Coco film. How many is that?
Oh, fuck. Did I say that?
Has it always been your number one? Or is it more recently? How long has Coco been your number one?
Inside Out was my number one for quite some time. And then the reason I actually put Coco above it is because one night I was a little bit not sober. And I did one of those things on like TikTok where you come across like part 1 of 37 of a film. Like an hour and a half later, I'm searching for like part 28. And I'm watching this whole movie on TikTok. And I'm like, the fact that this movie is hitting and I'm watching it on TikTok just says something about this movie. So that's when I decided to put it at number one. But yeah, it's really, I will say it is neck and neck between Inside Out and Coco. I do love them both equally, but I think the reason I put Coco at number one is just because if I have to pick which one I'd most want to rewatch right now, it's going to be Coco.
Interesting. My number one.
Oh, surprise.
Cars 2. My number one is Ratatouille, of course. What a surprise. Ratatouille is an interesting one. It's again a childhood favorite that I've watched constantly. I just think it's so lovely. It's a themes of anyone can do anything, anyone can achieve whatever they want to in life. It's just a loving testament to art, a loving abode to food and art and artistry and creating your craft and being as best as you can be. I think the characters are great. I think the humor in Ratatouille is fantastic as well. Linguini is just a hilarious character that I can just watch do stupid shit over and over again. I also think it's one of the especially that era. It's hard to compare in terms of animation because of how much it's advanced, as Tyler was saying. So I think Coco, for me, would be the best looking one of the past, especially the past decade anyway. But I think around the era of Ratatouille, kind of the early-ish era of Pixar, 2007, I think it was. It's the best looking for me in terms of the vibe, the Paris streets, the colors, the food. I've wanted to eat that ratatouille. I wanted to eat that ratatouille for so long, and then like Tyler, I tried it in France. And I was like, yes, it's fine. I mean, I don't really get it because it looks so good in that shit. You know what I mean? Like the last scene, crazy. But yeah, Ratatouille is my number one. I think all of us now should just run through before we go our top 5 worst, just run through our top 10. So I had Soul at 10, Coco at 9, Luca at 8, Toy Story 2 at 7, Toy Story at 6, Wall-E at 5, Toy Story 3 at 4, Incredibles at 3, Monsters Inc. at 2, and Ratatouille at 1. Tyler, top 10.
Number 10, Wall-E. Number 9, Monsters, Inc. Number 8, Toy Story 2. Number 7, Finding Nemo. Number 6, Toy Story 3. Number 5, Toy Story. Number 4, Inside Out. Number 3, The Incredibles. Number 2, Ratatouille. And number 1, Coco.
Nice.
One breath.
George. Struggle.
I got Toy Story 2 at number 10, Finding Nemo at 9, Ratatouille at 8, Up at 7, Wall-E at 6, Toy Story 3 at 5, The Incredibles at 4, Toy Story at 3, Inside Out at 2, and Coco at number 1.
Perfect. Let us know who you think wins our draft. It wasn't.
I win.
Please don't vote on it. Don't do that shit. We're gonna get George's minions in the comments. We haven't said that in a while. Actually, I don't know if it exists anymore. It's crazy.
Because that's Illumination, not Pixar. Let's keep it Pixar themed. Not talking about minions right now.
Yeah, shit. Cross promotion.